Hello, my name is Marvin Boutsman and I'm applying to join the UCLA College Scholars Program.
Throughout my life, I have always wanted to explore important problems through a global context and challenge myself. It did not matter if these problems were of global significance or something that only I found interesting. Whenever a challenge presented itself, I wanted to take a crack at solving it. One such problem that I've spent some of the most time researching because of how much it worried and intrigued me is the lack of public transportation in the US and the resulting consequences.
My interest in this topic was sparked during the COVID-19 pandemic, where I was isolated for months on end. However, my intrigue had been growing for many years because of the suburban isolation of my childhood.
I rarely was able to act independently before I got my driver's license, because going to the nearest business would take nearly an hour by foot and would be extremely difficult by bike as well because of the terrain. An unfortunate consequence of this was extremely limited mobility, as my parents would need to give me a ride to anywhere I wanted to go. As you can see, going to the nearest business would take quite the journey. In my research, I learned that the US is the world's second largest emitter of carbon dioxide, and that 28% of those emissions come from the transportation sector, largely personal vehicles. Comparatively, the UK government found that personal cars have carbon emissions 4 times greater than trains. Public transportation also has significant health benefits, as people who use public trains and buses are 44% less likely to be overweight. Further, trains are nearly 3 times safer than cars and do not have the same personal financial burdens.
As I dove deeper into public transportation networks and what makes them successful, I realized that public transportation networks need to coincide with dense housing in order to thrive. In fact, part of the reason why US cities do not have successful public transportation networks, or nearly any at all, is because of the car-centric urban design that leads to extensive sprawl.
Dense, walkable neighborhoods enable people to become more active and walk in their communities.
This could not only lead to better health, but could also lead to more tight-knit communities, something Americans feel has been lost over the years. Additionally, denser housing could help address another area of public concern, the increasing housing prices.
Research from Harvard University found that the housing price-to-income ratio in the US has risen from 3.0 in 1990 to 5.5 in 2022. Denser housing can help mitigate this crisis because it creates more housing availability in these higher demand areas, allowing for people to live where they desire. Further, dense, walkable neighborhoods foster the communities needed for public transportation to thrive.
The creation of public transportation and denser housing can lead to healthier, cheaper, friendlier, and more eco-conscious communities.
My interest regarding public transportation has grown from learning about the benefits of these networks, to learning about the need for denser neighborhoods to complement these networks, to now even looking at where in my hometown public transportation would thrive, and even crafting a nationwide high-speed rail network that takes into account what city pairs and regions would best be served by a high-speed rail design.
This topic has fascinated me, and I hope to continue exploring it through college scholars and the college scholars community.